So I am very much against Autism Speaks and corrective therapies and everything else, because as an actual autistic person, I can tell you that they are just fucking terrible. And here's the thing, is that I'll put stuff in the description as to why Autism Speaks is terrible, but part of why I'm just kind of like, it might seem jumbled with my intro, is I'm trying to jump into this and not make a, 10-minute long video on something. Anyways, so here's the thing that I find interesting. Autism Speaks always focuses so much on autism in children and how it affects children. But why is that? Let's just to prove how, in another way, that how awful Autism Speaks is. I mean, why focus so much on the children? I mean, autism is lifelong. It affects you for your entire fucking life, and childhood is an extremely small portion of your life. What about the other several decades of this autistic people's lives? You only speak for, oh, right, no, you don't speak for autistic people, you speak for autistic parents of autistic people, children. And that's why. And mostly boys, which is why you have the blue puzzle piece. Because apparently it's a boy's disease, which, there are more boys with the diagnosis, but that's because of prejudice and stereotypes and misconceptions and things. So we can't, I mean, women, when they end up getting the diagnosis, it ends up being in adulthood most of the time. And, they're like, and then they may end up not getting diagnosed at all in a lot of cases, because there's that misconception that it is a boy's disease. So people, you can, like, I've given doctors and psychiatrists, I've told them about, like, not stereotypical, but like textbook traits of autism, and I didn't get anything. It wasn't until I started doing my own research for my own suspicions that I finally got a referral to a specialist who I still get seen because I'm an adult, so it's fucking next to impossible to find anything. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. But, so, Autism Speaks only goes for the parents, and so of course they don't do anything for autistic adults, because, I mean, then it's not the parents' responsibilities anymore. And they're always talking about how awful autism is, so God forbid you have this productive adult. But at the same time, wouldn't they want that? Because here's the deal, they're huge, like, constantly trying to push ABA therapies and corrective therapies and all this other harmful shit onto children to try to make them make them normal, which is bullshit, anyways. And so they wouldn't if that was shit actually worked, then wouldn't you want to show what happens to these kids when they become adults? If after, like, oh, look, it works so well. Look at this autistic child who grew up to be a normal adult. See, this shit works. You should totally do it to your autistic children. But that's not the case. Maybe it's because that shit actually doesn't work and ends up fucking up the children for life. Because that shit is actually extremely harmful to the children and can cause developmental PTSD. Developmental PTSD is PTSD that happens because the trauma that happens while the brain is still developing, i.e. Before the person turns 25. So, and the younger this trauma happens and the more ongoing it is, the bigger of an effect it can have. For example, sure, I didn't get the diagnosis until very recently as an adult, but it doesn't mean that my parents, teachers, etc. weren't constantly trying to make me normal. And basically the stuff they were doing was basically ABA therapy, but they just didn't realize that that's what they were doing. Anyways, yes, I'm an autistic adult. Am I working? No. I can barely take care of myself. Sure. Is it because of my autism? Hell no. Hell, my autism is probably the only reason why I'm freaking functioning or coping at all. Because it allows me to do, I'm not going to get into all the positives of autism in this video because I'm trying to keep it on topic so that I don't make a super long video. But the thing is, the reason why I can't do all this shit is because of my PTSD. Because of all the child abuse I suffered. Not all of it was because of autism and whatnot, but, yeah, so a lot of it was I was constantly bullied and, singled out and all this other stuff because I was autistic and I didn't have the diagnosis, and because they're desperate for me to be normal, right? They couldn't, because since autism is so scary, right, you have less people even wanting to get their child diagnosed with it, or seeing a specialist to possibly get a diagnosis because, oh, I can't have that scary disease. It's not a disease either, like, fuck. So, ends up with a lot of harmful shit that can fuck the children up for life, and you end up with adults who can't function properly because instead of working with the autism, it's working against it. So they're spending all their time and energy trying desperately to be normal, so that they have no time and energy left to function. Like, since realizing I was autistic, I have been trying to unlearn all of those harmful ideologies and trying to just be my weird autistic self. And I've been doing better because I'm able to do more in a day. I'm able to handle more responsibilities, and I'm able to function better because I'm not spending all this time and energy desperately trying to be normal. So I have all that time and energy now I can spend on, keeping my home clean, doing my cooking and running my errands or volunteering or whatever else. Just keeping up with my responsibilities and all this other stuff. And so, yeah, like, work with the autism, not against it, and you end up with much better results. And autistic people can be extremely successful, and there's nothing wrong with being autistic, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. And sure, you might be saying, oh, it's easy for you to say, you can talk. Not always, okay? I go nonverbal sometimes, and depending on what's going on in my life, it can be worse. Others, like, actually, most of today I haven't been able to talk. I only started making these videos because I was starting to be able to talk again. Like, if I'm in a really rough period of my life, which has been most of my life, I can go, like, days being unable to talk. And, oh, you don't have motor issues. I'm an extremely clumsy person, okay? I have trained myself, and dance helped a lot with that, and I love dance, and it was fun, and people love dance, and taking dance helps with my clumsiness and whatever. And sure, I have executive functioning issues and all this other stuff, and sure, there's negative stuff from it, but you know what, there's a bunch of positive stuff with autism too. So just like with autistic people, autistic being a term for non-autistic people, I wouldn't want to be autistic because they're so numb to the world. They don't experience things as intensely as we do, and they don't get, that kind of feeling of loving something so much and that kind of joy of getting it. And sure, sometimes it can mean you get upset more easily, but then you also have that extreme elation and joy, and everything is, more vibrant and tastes better, and stronger smell, sure. And I mean, I can see in the dark where other people would be stumbling around, unable to, move. And I mean, I'll take that over, being able to go, like, I wear sunglasses even when it's cloudy, but I mean, I like being able to see that well in the dark. It's cool. And like, my autistic people, their brains organize memories and information in a more efficient manner, so we end up having greater memory skills more often than not. And like, I could make a whole video about all the positive aspects of autism, but it's also just, it's who I am, because it's how my brain is structured. So if you were to take away my autism, you would take away me. It wouldn't be me anymore. It would be someone else. So hell yeah, hell no, I don't want to be cured of my autism, because you'd be curing me of me. And I don't know about you, but I want to still be myself, I don't want to die and be replaced by someone else. Anyway, thanks for watching.